You're watching live coverage from RJD News. Thank you for contributions from viewers like you.
Robert Mueller put all of the facts together for us, put all of the information together for us, and abided by the Trump administration's declaration under the Office of Legal Counsel that a sitting president cannot be indicted for his crimes.
You know, our nation was founded on the principles of a government that should be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
I don't have a political machine. I don't come from money. But what I do have is this. I have grit.
When ignorance and bigotry is allied with power, it is a dangerous force in our country.
My family's story isn't special. What's special is the America that makes our story possible.
But we need, as Democrats, to build an economy that works. But it's got to be with smart policies. Medicare for all may sound good, but it's actually not good policy, nor is it good politics.
Here, a city that has been one of the safest in the United States of America for 20 years and counting, safe long before a wall was built here in 2008. In fact, a little less safe after that wall was built.
Because our friends on the other side, Mr. Speaker, it's like they have amnesia and nothing happened before the election a couple years ago.
Trump's buildings in New York City produce as much greenhouse gases as 5,800 cars a year. How ludicrous it is that this government is shut down over a promise the President of the United States couldn't keep. And we are going to inject the issue of morality into politics today.
So we know that it's the right thing to do to welcome the 11 million undocumented immigrants into our country and put them on a pathway to citizenship.
We must put an end to endless war and refocus on future threats.
Now, one thing I've learned is that success is sweeter when it's shared. And that's just as true in business as it is in life.
This president has tried to reduce America to its smallest self by attacking the values and institutions of our democracy and turning our most cherished principles inside out.
The same psychological and emotional and spiritual forces that prevail within the journey of an individual prevail within the journey of a nation, because all that a nation is a collection of individuals.
We are in the midst of the greatest economic and technological transformation in the history of our country.
And we have got to this moment with this momentum because of the work that each of you have put into fighting for the best of who we are as a country.
There are three basic reasons why I'm running for President of the United States. The first is to restore the soul of the nation. And the second is to rebuild the backbone of this nation.
Hello, welcome guys to RJD News on Decision 2020. We are reviewing the specific debates, the first Democratic debate and its highlights on both nights. So here is the full video. See you guys later.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? Just a show of hands, start off with. All right.
There are a lot of politicians who say, oh, it's just not possible, we just can't do it, have a lot of political reasons for this. What they're really telling you is they just won't fight for it.
For all the American citizens out there who feel you're falling behind, who feel the American dream's not working for you, the immigrants didn't do that to you. The big corporations did that to you.
Watching that image of Oscar and his daughter Valeria is heartbreaking. It should also piss us all off. I would sign an executive order that would get rid of Trump's zero-tolerance policy, the Remain in Mexico policy, and the metering policy.
You're looking at just one small part of this. I'm talking about a comprehensive rewrite of our immigration laws.
That's not true.
And if we do that, I don't think it's asking too much. Necesitamos incluir cada persona.
La situación ahora es inaceptable.
On January 20th, 2021, we'll say adios to Donald Trump.
I am the only candidate here who has passed a law protecting a woman's right of reproductive health and health insurance.
I just want to say there's 3 women up here that have fought pretty hard for a woman's right to choose.
The biggest threat to the security of the United States is Donald Trump, and there's no question.
Senator Harris, I'm so sorry. We will let all of you speak. Senator Harris.
Hey, guys, you know what? America does not want to witness a food fight. They want to know how we're going to put food on their table. Yeah?
I was 6 years old when a presidential candidate came to the California Democratic Convention and said, it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of Americans. That candidate was then Senator Joe Biden. He's still right today. If we're going to solve the issues of automation, pass the torch. If we're going to solve the issues of climate chaos, pass the torch. If we're going to solve the issue of student loan debt, pass the torch.
Vice President, would you like to sing a torch song?
I would. I'm still holding on to that torch.
As part of Joe's generation,
I'm all for
part of Joe's generation, let me respond.
Before we move
the
on
issue,
from,
if I may say, is not generational.
Please.
The
Senator
issue is not generational. The issue is who has the guts to take on Wall Street, to take on the fossil fuel industry, to take on the big money interests who have unbelievable influence over the economic and political life of this country.
On January 20th, 2021, if you are president, what specifically would you do with the thousands of people who try to reach the United States every day and want a better life through asylum?
I will ensure that this microphone that the President of the United States holds in her hand is used in a way that is about reflecting the values of our country and not about locking children up, separating them from their parents.
If you'd ever told me any time in my life that this country would sanction federal agents to take children from the arms of their parents, put them in cages, actually put them up for adoption, in Colorado we call that kidnapping, I would have told you it was unbelievable.
Governor, you're right. It is kidnapping, and it's extremely important for us to realize that. If you forcibly take a child from their parents' arms, you are kidnapping them. And if you take a lot of children and you put them in a detainment center, thus inflicting chronic trauma upon them, that's called child abuse. This is collective child abuse. And when this is crime, both of those things are a crime. And if your government does it, that doesn't make it less of a crime. These are state-sponsored crimes.
My community is in anguish right now because of an officer-involved shooting. A black man, Eric Logan, killed by a white officer. And I'm not allowed to take sides until the investigation comes back. The officer said he was attacked with a knife, but he didn't have his body camera on. It's a mess. Look, we've taken so many steps toward police accountability that the FOP just denounced me for too much accountability. We're obviously not there yet. And I accept responsibility for that because I'm in charge.
Policy, you should fire the chief.
So under Indiana law, this will be investigated, and there will be accountability for the officer involved.
But you're the mayor. You should fire the chief if that's the policy and someone died.
All of these issues are extremely important, but there are specifics. There are symptoms. I do not believe that the average American is a racist, but the average American is woefully undereducated about the history of race in the United States.
On the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. In this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist, but I also believe, and it's personal, and it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. You also worked with them to oppose busing. There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden, you have been invoked. We are going to give you a chance to respond. Vice President Biden.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. That is not true. Number one. Number two, if we want to have this campaign litigated on who supports civil rights and whether I did or not, I'm happy to do that.